They thought Japan would be cold, too strict, too serious, a place where no one smiled, no one talked, and foreigners were treated like outsiders. But 5 minutes after landing in Tokyo, everything they believed shattered. It started with a single moment, a moment so unexpected, so deeply human, it froze them in place. Because what they discovered wasn't a country of rigid rules and distant people, but a warmth so subtle, so sincere, it hit them harder than any grand welcome ever could. And within hours, this family who expected to feel unwelcome found themselves questioning everything they ever thought they knew about Japan. The Ramirez family from Toronto thought they knew exactly what Japan would be like: cold, strict, silent, and rule-obsessed. Michael, the dad, joked that he'd get arrested for crossing the street too slowly. His wife, Lena, imagined endless signs telling them what not to do. And their teenage son, Jonah, was convinced that locals would just stare at them in disapproval. They spent the entire flight bracing for a trip that felt more like a school discipline camp than a vacation. But they had no idea how wrong they were, or how quickly Japan would prove them wrong. The moment they stepped into Haneda Airport, everything felt unfamiliar. It was spotless, shiny floors, quiet halls, perfectly organized lines. No shouting, no rushing, no chaos. Even the announcements sounded calm and precise, almost rehearsed. Instead of feeling reassured, the family felt even more intimidated. "Everyone looks so serious," Lena whispered. People moved efficiently, silently, almost like they were trying not to disturb anyone around them. To the Ramirez family, it felt like stepping into a world where emotions were locked behind polite expressions. Culture shock hit fast and deep. Their first real test came at Shinagawa Station, one of the busiest in Tokyo. Jonah accidentally dropped his backpack as the crowd surged around them, papers scattered across the floor. He kneeled down, embarrassed, expecting people to step around him or over him. Instead, everything stopped. A businessman in a crisp suit knelt beside him immediately. A grandmother bent down too. Within seconds, 6 strangers were helping gather every paper, every pen, every scrap. The businessman bowed slightly and said, "Daijobu? Are you okay?" Jonah could only nod. It was the first moment the family realized. Cold wasn't the word, not even close. As they navigated the station, another local noticed them puzzling over the map. Instead of pointing vaguely, he walked them all the way to the correct platform, 5 minutes in the opposite direction of where he was going. He bowed, smiled softly, and hurried back the way he came. It kept happening. A shop owner ran out to return the coin they overpaid. A woman offered her seat to Lena before Lena could even say no. A teenager shyly practiced his English just to welcome them to Japan. The family started realizing something. Japan wasn't distant. It was respectful. Quiet didn't mean cold. Formality didn't mean unkindness. They were being cared for, just in a gentler language. On their second evening, they wandered into a tiny alley in Asakusa and found a small ramen shop run by an elderly couple. No English menu, no big signs, just warm light and the smell of broth. The owners noticed their confusion and laughed softly, guiding them with gestures and warm smiles. They prepared dishes omakase, chosen for them, explaining each ingredient with pride. Halfway through the meal, the husband brought out a handwritten note for Jonah. "Welcome to Japan. We are happy you came." The family laughed with the couple, shared photos, learned chopstick tricks, and experienced the kind of hospitality that felt more like visiting relatives than eating at a restaurant. That little shop became the moment they realized they were wrong about Japan, completely wrong. Over the next days, they walked through serene temples in Kyoto, wandered quiet side streets in Nara, and stumbled into a neighborhood festival in Osaka where locals pulled them right into the dancing circle. Kids gave Jonah sparklers, elders offered snacks he couldn't pronounce. A group of teenagers taught the family festival chants, laughing every time Michael got one wrong. Slowly, the family saw Japan for what it really was, not a country of emotionless faces, but a place where kindness is simply done quietly, where respect speaks louder than words, where community exists even in silence. The moment that changed everything came on a crowded morning train. Lena, feeling nauseous, wobbled slightly as the train started moving. Without hesitation, a schoolgirl, maybe 12 years old, stood up and gently guided Lena to her seat. When Lena tried to refuse, the girl shook her head, smiling. She then held Lena's bag for the entire ride, making sure she was okay. At the next stop, the girl bowed and whispered in broken English, "Take care, please." Lena didn't just tear up, she cried. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't loud, it was human, and it left the entire family speechless. Their last day came too soon. At the small ramen shop, the elderly couple remembered them instantly. The wife pressed a tiny origami crane into Jonah's hands. "For good luck," she said. At their hotel, the staff bowed deeply, thanking them for staying. One of them handed over a card with handwritten messages from the whole team. They barely knew the family, yet they cared enough to write. At the airport, the Ramirez family looked back at the city they once feared and realized they were leaving with heavy hearts. Japan hadn't just welcomed them, it had changed them. Back home, everything felt different. Michael walked slower. Lena kept the house cleaner. Jonah bowed out of habit whenever he thanked someone. They found themselves valuing calmness over noise, respect over speed, kindness over convenience. They carried Japan with them, not the places, but the people. The Ramirez family went to Japan expecting coldness and found one of the warmest cultures on earth. Sometimes the places we fear the most become the ones that change us forever. And sometimes, all it takes is a single moment of human kindness to rewrite everything we thought we knew. If this story touched you, imagine how many more lives could change just by sharing it. Hit like so more people can see the real beauty of Japan. Comment below if you've ever had your assumptions proven wrong while traveling. And don't forget to subscribe for more heartfelt stories that remind us that kindness is everywhere. Sometimes quiet, sometimes subtle, but always powerful. Your support helps us bring more stories like this to life. Arigato.